Hi there, it's Michael. It's Wednesday, September 23rd, and I am in quarantine up in the mountains, as you may see behind me. Um, and I am, hold on, I am trying to connect with Robin, who may be watching me because she's back at Sunraven, and we're trying to use technology uh, that we're not necessarily experienced in using. Um, I could say that one of the things that is of interest in this discussion today on life's purpose is that one of the things that I'm pretty clear about myself is that my purpose is not to run technological devices. So anyways, thank you for joining me. And again, I'm hoping that Robin um, is going to be able to sort of join us. But in the interim, as a background, this Wellness Wednesday talk Robin and I have sort of organized, which is to attempt to have a little bit of a dialogue, even though it's not exactly a dialogue, but to talk between Robin and myself about the way that we face certain challenges and how we could develop a strategy and then support each other in that to create an easier time for us to achieve something in our life that we really care about. The subject of purpose is, to me, the overriding question. When I developed the Slow Medicine Wheel of Health, that was a centerpiece to the book Slow Medicine that I wrote and published 5 years ago, and the foundation of our work at Sunraven in Bedford, the idea was that there are certain things that we need working for us in order to consider ourselves healthy. One, of course, is our body, and so many people are focused on their body. We sort of know what that looks like. People come to me as a holistic physician to ask questions about their body. Do they have this condition, that condition? They're on medications. They want to get off of medications. They're stressed. Their mind comes into play because often something like stress, as an example, or even the illnesses that they face, stress them and make it hard for them to concentrate and focus and to be in the moment and to experience joy. We recognize, of course, that our lives are so dependent on relationships with other people and other things in the world at large. But to me, the seventh of the seven essential petals of the flower of the Wheel of Health is purpose. We're born into this world, into our own particular family, and it begs the question, like, what are we doing here? Is this just an accident? Is this just simple evolution that got us on this planet, and we just follow the motions, and maybe we evolve as a species for another million years, and who knows what? Or is there something very specific about your life, your consciousness, your awareness of being alive that is meant to be addressed while you are alive? To me, as I wrote in my moon letter last week, which was published on the new moon, and for which it sort of preceded this particular conversation, I don't think one could live their life in greatest fullness without really addressing and understanding and then focusing on the path that leads to their specific purpose. That we are each very unique, that our purpose could be something very specific, very special in many ways. And it doesn't have to be a major thing like changing the world or healing the sick or raising kids. But it could be any of those things, and it could be something more minor, which is just to appreciate the experience of being alive, or to have some moments of joy and know what that feels like, or to even fully experience my grief. Those could be purpose. They may not be as sexy, and they may not be as intriguing as what we see paraded in front of us in the public sphere, because there's some amazing people out there that we find very attractive and what they do very important. But each of us has to think about our own significance. Without being significant, this is when I think a lot of people get into trouble. They start to underplay their value, and as a result, it's much harder to take care of yourself in any other way. If you're not valuable, if that's your underlying message, if you've been taught that you're not valuable, there's something wrong with you, there's, you've got an impediment, society doesn't support you, then, there's no hope for you to achieve anything major. That attitude, as an aside, which I think is common, and I understand where it comes from, plagues us. And it plagues us because it prevents each of us from really appreciating how amazing we are and what kind of potential we have for our own soul's development. Maybe not for the world at large, but our own soul. To me, you have to have the purpose of your soul's evolution. And when you have the purpose of your soul's evolution, then you will find the energy for things like how I take care of my body, how I take care of my mind, how I take care of my family, friends, other relationships. It pulls everything into alignment. If we are just randomly pursuing, as an example, to the extreme, material, wealth, money, and we accumulate all sorts of money, and we don't do anything particularly useful with the money other than feed ourselves more food and buy ourselves more things, and we die just like that, one could look at our lives and say, well, that was a wealthy person, but really didn't contribute much. And I don't think on the level of spirit, if there is a replay of your soul's existence in another life, as an example, that just accumulating material wealth is going to advance you in any way. So that's the extreme. The fact is, most people are not doing that. Most people are really just trying to make a living so that they can support themselves, feed themselves. But we see that we do get caught up on material things, that we have to have certain things. And we even have to have certain experiences. We have to have certain people serving us in certain ways, let's say in relationship. We have expectations of our kids, expectations of our parents, expectations of our spouses and significant others, expectations of our bosses. We get very disappointed because all those expectations set bars very high for other people to perform. And the question I'd ask is, and how does that serve you in terms of what you need to learn and to grow? So I'm going to try to add Robin, who I see she's here, but I can't seem to do that. So I'm going to just have to continue. Hold on a second. So anyway, we're missing Robin. Robin would have some interesting perspective on this, of course. She has heard me talk about this many times, and many people have talked to me about this, and they have used the phrase bypassing, spiritual bypassing and other things. If we take on the higher sense of what we can achieve in our life, and do we therefore care less about material things? Do we care less about our bodies and sort of support? Do we just get very selfish? The answer is no. I think that the idea behind purpose is that it is in service to others, particularly other souls, not just other people, but other souls in the same journey, which is to perhaps go back into the ultimate unifying consciousness and bring with us some of the lessons, some of the learning, some of the experiences and the depth of our experience to inform a divine consciousness in some way. Now, I think that that's lofty. I think I admit that that's actually quite lofty. And some people say, well, I'm just struggling to feed myself right now. I don't have the luxury of that. And I get that. I understand the challenge. But then I would say the question I would say is, so how are you doing? And most people are struggling for a long time. I think compelling is the question, could you perhaps struggle less? Would you perhaps struggle less if you spent some time with your purpose, understood more clearly how you were going to serve? Would that maybe lessen the baggage you carry, the other things that you may think you need to do that turns out to be not so important? And as a result, you make yourself more efficient. And the work you need to do to survive and to take care of, let's say, the immediate needs of your family are still the focus. That's still going to be part of it, but maybe not some of the other extraneous matters. Maybe I don't need to work, harder for a new pair of sneakers if I've got one that works. A lot of people I see doing that. I see spending a lot of time, a lot of sweat, a lot of heartache in the pursuit of things that are nice luxuries. But what could they do with that time if it was really in alignment with their life's purpose? That's the efficiency that I think improves how we utilize energy in our body, how we align our body and our mind, how we include our relationships and are clearer on which relationships serve us and which don't. And ultimately, in the end, I think that's what helps us be as healthy as possible. A lot of people ask the question, and I pose this in the Moon Letter, well, when you ask life's purpose and you talk about things like serving others and any of those possibilities, I don't really know where to begin with that. And that, I know it's somewhat of a difficult question. It's not always obvious or self-evident. Aristotle wrote a quote that I pulled out as the beginning of my Moon Letter, which was, the path between our gifts and our talents and our abilities, somewhere in the merger of those paths. If you think about what are your natural gifts, what are your talents, what are your abilities, somewhere in there is your life's purpose. Some people are gifted communicators. Some people are gifted comforters. Some people are gifted workers in the field, in terms of with their hands. Some people are gifted thought producers and creative. Some people have talents in any number of different skills. Some people have cultivated certain abilities and certain mindset. Look there for yourself. Sometimes a good idea is to ask some people around you who know you pretty well that question, because they may often see you unblemished from your own self-consciousness and your own views of limited self. They may see some of your inherent beauty and ability, and they may guide you on the track of what you're really particularly valuable at, where your value lies. And then try to cultivate that. Spend more time doing that in service to others, in service to your own soul and your own soul's journey. And I think when you do that, things will get easier. You won't solve every problem. There'll still be the dilemma of the pain and the suffering in this life. There'll still be death at the end. But there could be something that says my life is more meaningful now. And if every day is a little bit more meaningful, how would the quality of your life be affected? And isn't it about the quality of our lives that matter most? Isn't that what we're trying to do here? And in the quality, of course, when we evaluate what was a good day, it tends to be that I really appreciated what I have. I appreciated others. I spent time connecting, whether it's to other people, animals, the planet, the divine. I just felt connected. I felt like I was breathing. I was relaxed. I was part of something big and important. Those days, those are the days to cherish. And when you think about your life's purpose, you may actually think about days you experienced like that. That may be another clue of where to look, because it was on those days, in all likelihood, that you found some balance and some resonance. What were you doing then? Do more of that. So that's my suggestion for today. I'm sorry again that Robin couldn't join us, but I do really appreciate all of you who have. And we will continue with this conversation every Wednesday at noon and try very hard to find subjects that are meaningful to you. Please send us questions, ideas. slowmedicine.org is the website. We would love nothing more than to hear from you and to continue to address the things that are important for you. So I wish you a beautiful week as we enter this autumnal season. Obviously, you can see behind me, I'm a little further north than Bedford, so things are turning colors here a little bit earlier, and it's just one of those beautiful times where we have to ask ourselves, this is no accident. This amount of beauty had to have been part of some incredible design, and I'd like to make the most of my existence right now to support that plan. Anyway, I wish you peace and love always, and I'll speak to you with Robin by my side next week.